Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Hour Crisis, and in this video I wanted to give you a Magic Sephiroth DPS guide for Rhad N'akiu Crash 2. Rhad N'akiu is weak to both War and Wind, and you also keep summoning hands, and each is weak to one element but resistant to the other, so in one way or another you need both elements. And also, when N'akiu summons the hands, he will become resistant to the elements, but as soon as you defeat a hand, he will drop that respective resistance. But also after you defeat both hands, N'akiu will temporarily get stunned and his defenses will get lowered, and this will be your main DPS vice. But also N'akiu is immune to most debuffs and he will keep debuffing your attack and defenses, but will also keep buffing his own magic attack, so unless you can just melt the boss, you'll need to bring N'akiu mad to nullify it. And N'akiu has a sigil face with circle and diamond sigils, however you need to break a lot of sigils in a very short time. So in order to stagger him, you'll need to time it and kill both hands just as the sigil phase is starting, so the boss gets stunned and you have enough time to break and stagger. But if you can't kill the hands, just ignore the sigils because you won't be able to break them in time, even with overspeed activated, and just instead keep buffing defense and healing to ensure that you survive the bonk. But also, if you leave the hands for too long, they can cast silence and darkness and disable your characters from using abilities. N'akiu is the MVP healer support because he has silver color, the only weapon in the game that can debuff both elements, and that is very valuable because there are some characters that can debuff one of the elements but not the other. And also he can apply exploit weakness with his banner ultimate weapon, and can heal and apply magic defense as well, so N'akiu is support slash healer MVP because of his silver color and his ultimate weapon if you pulled on that. And I also think Wind Tifa with her Academy gear will be perfect because with every Wind cast she buffs physical attack for the whole team, and she could also be used as a solo DPS, or you could bring 2 DPS, one for each element, but Yuffie will also be a good physical DPS as she has both Wind and Water weapon with self-exploit weakness. But also Aerith is a very good support and healer with camera, sage staff and exploit weakness, or even her Academy weapon to buff water damage. But even with just 3 characters, you have multiple options to pick many offensive and defensive buffs and debuffs. But this Crash event has spell effect that increases magic attack by 70%, so with magic DPS it might just be a little bit easier and faster. But also magic attack buffs are a little bit less accessible because we just don't have a wind or water DPS weapon that deals damage and buffs magic attack, so we need to bring M attack buffs on a healer or support. But Cloud and Seph are very good wind DPS. And also Seph has both magic wind and water weapon and can be used as a solo DPS with 2 supporting characters. But yeah, N'akiu is the MVP healer, and with him you can use 2 magic DPS for each element or 2 physical DPS, but I think he'll be mostly great if you have his exploit weakness weapon to heavily boost the damage. But I have Sephiroth on my team as solo DPS with both elements, and N'akiu with Aerith of buffing and healing, and while there are some other options like N'akiu with 2 DPS, magic or physical, Sephiroth is my best option on my account, but yes, 2 DPS are much faster as you can melt the boss and speedrun through the whole battle. Aerith has Bahamut outfit with Breath of the Earth, Crimson Staff to buff magic attack, Sage Staff to apply exploit weakness, Banner ultimate weapon, Cura and all Cure slots, Isuna Darkness, just in case, and Circle Sigil, and then in sub-equipment slots Aerith has 2 guild weapons with magic defense for allies. N'akiu has Canyon outfit with Stardust Ray to nullify those magic attack buffs, Silver Color to debuff both elements, Sleek Color to buff magic defense, Free ultimate weapon, Cure and all Cure slots, Isuna Silence, just in case, and a Circle Sigil, And then sub-equipment slots N'akiu has Stalwart Integrity with HP and a guild weapon with magic defense for allies. And I'm pretty sure my N'akiu still has level 3 overspeed because I forgot to unlock the rest of his nodes. Seph has Odin outfit with All Arcanum, Leviathan, Edgar for water DPS and Remages for wind DPS, Genji, 2 materia with magic attack and magic defense, Circle Sigil, and then sub-equipment slot Seph has Vergloves to further boost water potency and 2 weapons with magic ability potency and HP. Alright, first I recommend skip the intro animation because it's long and the battle has already started while it's still going. So if you don't skip it, the opening is very fast and basically you just have to buff your magic defense and start working on one of the hands. It doesn't matter which one first, but eventually you have to defeat both of them. And yes, you can leave one for some time, but you won't be able to break the sigils if you don't kill them. So you have to choose which way you want to go. But after an attack, he always debuffs your attack and defenses, so instead of healing, I just recommend nullify those debuffs and buff your DPS first before you start recovering. But this attack, it has very slow charge time, so you have quite a lot of time. But also be careful because he will keep debuffing your magic defense with Dreadful Grudge. But ideally you want to have both hands somewhat finished by the time where he is almost done with charging, because after this there will be a sigil phase, so it depends. If you don't kill the hands, you can do damage to the boss, but you won't be able to break the sigil, so you have to keep healing and buffing magic defense to not get killed by his attack, because you can't stun him. But also if you want to stun him and break the sigils, you have to time it, so as the sigil phase is beginning, so you have to break both hands somewhat in the middle, otherwise it'll be too late. But then you can just break all the sigils. But you also can't really leave him unattended for too long because he will start regenerating the hands before you actually stun him, so you still have to do the sigil phase quite fast. Alright, I am buffed, so yeah, I'm leaving Stardust Ray for a little bit later because now he has only +2 magic attack, but when he starts charging his next AoE attack, he will buff another +2, so he'll have +4 and then +5, so I just keep it because +2 is manageable, but +4 it makes it already very risky. Alright, I think I can manage one more. Nah, too late. Actually, yeah, that was barely in time. But here the same thing, hands got regenerated, so start breaking both of them. It's basically the same thing as opening, but he has +4 magic attack now. Right, let's just do it here and start this Ray. Because afterwards I have to refresh magic defense buff, so they'll already count towards the next one, because with every AoE attack he will keep buffing his magic defense. So you need N'akiu's limit break more than just once. But also I think both strats are viable. So breaking the sigils and killing both hands or just defeating one hand, and for some time just focusing on the boss and just leaving that other hands unattended for some time, but not too long. I'm sorry, let's just keep healing here a little bit. heal. And I'm just going to do one more attack, and I am going to leave that hand. But I also have to refresh the buffs with Aerith. This is the second Thundering Wrath, so he has +4 attack now. And this will hurt, but it is still manageable. Just make sure that you have +3 magic attack buff on your team. Because unless you have Rhad and N'akiu, it's impossible to get N'akiu's limit break so fast. But of course you can speed it up a little bit with activating his overspeed, so you get enough time to get both limit breaks. But that one attack is quite tough, because he does one after the other while buffing it, but also Colossal Calamity, he has +5 magic attack, so you have to debuff it. But I recommend don't. Really? Oh no. Please just do it. Alright, I am still safe. I thought I won't be able to make it in time, but yeah, if you get lag, it might most likely kill you. But here I'm just waiting. Alright, let's start this way now. Because you have to nullify that buff. You'll die if you don't. If you get hit by anything that has +5 magic attack, you will die. But that was sweaty. Alright. But also I am not killing his other hand here, because we will get another sigil face. So if I would have killed it, I would have had 2 hands to kill, and I wouldn't be able to break that sigil face that we are about to get. And here's the other sigil face, so the same thing as the first one, break it, and now just start doing sigils, because now we have more sigils. Instead of 30 we have 40 and 20 diamonds, so it has definitely more sigils than the first one, and it is a little bit tougher. So try to break as many as you can. But yeah, those sigil phases, if you want to break them, it's all about timing. But this one, unless you get N'akiu's limit break very fast, it's called another Colossal Calamity with +5, so you kind of need to break it. So on the second sigil phase you need to just time killing the hands and break the sigil phase. Alright, so let's see if I can finish it off with Tidal Wave. But also at least for Sephiroth, breaking the sigil phase is better, because he has that C ability on his ultimate weapon where he does a lot more damage during the stagger. So you get a lot of extra DPS on that. But yeah, that's the whole thing. If you need a little bit more time to kill the boss, it's fine, he'll just keep repeating his attacks. And the main danger here is when he attacks you while he is buffed. So you just have to keep trying to debuff the attack, so you just keep surviving. But that's really it, and with 2 DPS you can definitely just speedrun through the battle. But also all the characters work too, I just have Sephiroth for that. But yeah, that would be all then. So I really hope you found my guide helpful, or at least some things in it. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.